Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. How are you doing today? Hope you are having a sunny and drama-free day. Ready for some new stories from Ask a Lawyer? Let's go to the first one, about OP, who was generous and kind-hearted enough to throw his niece a birthday party, just to get a big slap in his face from his sister. Listen to the story to find out what happened at OP's niece's birthday party, and of course to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I, male 43, met my now ex-wife while I was grieving my late wife. I was weak, dealing with bereavement and my sick son, and latched to my ex as soon as my sister introduced her as her friend. We were married for over 3 years when I caught her with my ex-friend, who was my best friend, a year after my son passed away. Our marriage already had issues, but that was the last straw. She remained my sister's close friend, which is something I have no control over, but it absolutely hurts like hell. My sister and her husband lost their home and are struggling right now. They mentioned at a family gathering that they won't be hosting a party for my niece's birthday this year, which was unfair because the 16th birthday celebration is a special year for every kid. My son didn't get the chance to have a 16th birthday party, and so I decided to throw my niece a surprise party at the restaurant and called my sister to bring my niece and come to the restaurant without ruining the surprise for her. My sister knew and invited some friends, which was on me as well. But I figured that after 2 years of pain, loss, sadness, then why not enjoy one evening? The family arrived. My brother was already there, and we were having a great time, till I saw my ex-wife approach our table. I was confused. I asked what she was doing there. She said my sister invited her. I saw red and started lashing out, telling her to leave. My sister said she wanted her there, and that I should either quiet down or leave if she was making me uncomfortable. I was dumbfounded. I asked her if she really just tried to kick me out of the birthday party celebration that I arranged and paid for, and she glanced at me, then said this was her friend. I told her then she needed to take her friend and leave. She got up and told my niece and brother-in-law to get up so they could leave, but I said why? They didn't do anything wrong, and my niece doesn't deserve to have her birthday ruined like that. My niece and brother-in-law said they were staying. Mom left with them as well, and later they both said I made my niece's birthday about me, and should have ignored my ex, who's my sister's best friend, since she means nothing to me now. I argued that I arranged for the event and had the right to kick her out, which they called financial aggression and control. I replied that there was no way I'd let my ex anywhere near after she caused damage while I was vulnerable and grieving. Mom said she understood, but I should have just sucked it up for my niece's sake instead of causing a scene. Am I the a-hole? What sister takes her brother's ex-wife that cheated on him with his ex-best friend to the birthday party that her brother is paying for because she can't afford it? The party was for a child, and OP's sister is the one who intentionally made it about her, doing something she knew would cause harm to OP. She created the scene and uncomfortable environment. Worse, OP was generous and thoughtful enough to throw her daughter a surprise sweet 16 when she couldn't. And then she had the audacity to tell OP to leave from the dinner that OP was hosting and paying for. Then, when OP didn't budge, she tried to cancel her daughter's birthday party. She at least showed where her priorities are, choosing her friend over her family, OP, and her daughter. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Miss M. Pants says, not the a-hole. Your sis made it all about her. She put a friendship first. I think you need to cut them all off that are trying to get you to forgive and tell them each and every person mourns differently. Not only am I mourning my first wife, but the betrayal of wife 2 coupled with the passing of my son. I'm cutting contact with folks who do not understand this and act in painful ways towards me. It is sad that people have zero empathy, and I hope they never have to deal with such loss and betrayal. And I'd cut contact with them until given a sincere apology. Miss Lolo Power says, not the a-hole. Your sister is disrespectful as duck. SpinX7 says, not the a-hole. I suggest going low or no contact with your sister. She chose someone who blatantly hurt you and continues to choose that person. I, 58 female, have 2 children, Anna, 26 female, and Logan, 32 male. Both are college graduates and doing good. My husband, who has sadly passed away, and I set college funds up for both of them. Logan used his when he went to college, but Anna got a full ride to a good university, and hers was left untouched. My husband and I agreed to leave it there just in case, and that was it. My daughter is currently moving here and there, living her life, and has no intention of buying a house. Over the years, she's expressed her desire to do a master's or take some courses, but her life is so hectic and full right now that I don't blame her for not looking at it further. A few years ago, I also expressed my desire to take some baking classes, and she encouraged me to take some of the money for it. She has also said that I can take from it in case I need it or want it, since money is not a problem to her right now. Logan, on the other hand, is very eager to expand his education, since this will allow him to grow in his career and job field. However, he can't afford it while living on his own and having his own expenses. Even if he moves back, he won't be able to cut it, since he'll have to take less hours in order to go. So I said we could use the money since my daughter has, as we said before, encouraged me to use it. We just paid his first semester and everything was fine. Anna visited me a few days ago and said she was happy for her brother, and that if she could help in any way, she was happy to, since some of her friends had told her masters aren't cheap. I just told her that we were using the fund she left, so everything was fine. She just looked confused and said, "My fund?" And I said yes. She just asked why her fund, since it was meant for her, and I said that she had allowed me to take some of it here and there, so I thought. She said paying for Logan's masters was different, since it meant the fund might be left dry by the time she has to do her own. She left my house in tears, and when Logan found out, he refused the money and said he'll pay back what he took, and now both my kids are sad, and I don't get it. My sister said I created a mess. Wow. I don't understand if OP is stupid or pretends to be stupid. How can she compare two uncomparable things? OP should have asked. Her telling OP she could use a little here and there was not a full-blown go-ahead to steal from her for OP's son. I think OP owes her a huge apology and should help her son pay the money back. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Avanali says, "You're the a-hole. Baking classes and a master's program are vastly different. She's repeatedly mentioned wanting to do her master's, and her reward for having earned scholarships is that she can use her college fund for said master's. Her brother used his fund for his bachelor's, which unfortunately means if he wanted his master's, he should take out loans in order to do it. She's not planning on using the money for a house, fund money, etc. It was put away for her education, and she plans on using it to further her education. You should have talked to her before offering it up, and I'm glad her brother was sensible enough to understand that she didn't give permission and wanted it given back to her." Connolly 1227 says, "How do you not see the problem you've created? But everyone else, even both the children involved, who are on the same page about this, it's kind of mind-boggling. I strongly suggest you attempt to fix this mistake, as this is the type of thing that will have people cut ties over. I'm short, you're the a-hole." Laura's diary says, "You're the a-hole. If you believed it was fine to use the money, then why didn't you ask your daughter first? Deep down, you knew it wasn't totally fine, or else you would have made the simple phone call to ask her. Also, why can't your son take out some student loans to pay for his master's? Most people do." When my daughter Claire was 17, my husband came to know that he had a 15-year-old, Nicole, daughter from a relationship before me. Nicole's mother, Barb, never told him because she didn't want to fight him for custody. When Nicole was 14, Barb was diagnosed with late-stage cancer. By the time Nicole was 15, they were near homeless. With no other option, Barb sued my husband for child support to help her medical bills. In the end, she passed away and Nicole came to live with us. Things were really tense as Nicole hated all of us, and me and Claire left Nicole alone as she wished. My husband passed away when Nicole was 17. He was in a terrible accident and spent several weeks in the hospital. That pretty much wiped out all of our savings, except Claire's college fund and a little bit of our retirement fund. Nicole still hated us, but she chose to live with me for 1 year until she could go to college. Since she had already been living here and she wanted to live here, the process was also straightforward. The relationship between me and Nicole that 1 year was very cold. She hated me and would lash out if I said anything. She didn't respect me as an authority figure, and it was always, "You can't tell me what to do." Then Nicole went to college. A couple of months after she left, all of our relationship improved very much. She started bonding with me. She started seeing Claire like a big sister. Nicole is part of the family now. Nicole is 24. She has graduated, but she had a ton of student debt. Recently, she asked me if I was going to give her the amount of money I gave Claire for her college. I told Nicole no, and that circumstances back then were different. I love them both equally now, and I try my best to do things for them as impartial as possible, but I cannot be expected to make up for unequal things from the past. If I have to give Nicole that much money, money which I really don't have, then I would either have to sell the house or wipe out my retirement savings, both of which I'm unwilling to do. Nicole has been fighting with me about this, and she thinks it's unfair and that I'm just proving to her that I will always love Claire more than her. I'm being stubborn at this too. I didn't know Nicole back in the day. I cannot be expected to make up for every toy, gift, vacation I've bought or taken Claire on in the past. Am I the a-hole? Ultimately, it sounds like it was the deceased mother who was the a-hole. She deprived her ex of the opportunity to contribute to the raising of his little girl and to try to provide for her within his means, as well as deprived her daughter of the chance to grow up knowing her dad, just because she wanted sole custody. Then she sued him for back child support for her medical bills, not for her daughter's future. Then the daughter only gets 3 years with her dad, who is a stranger, at the most traumatic time of her life. I can't imagine he had much spare cash around to set up a college fund after he paid 14 years worth of child support in a short period of time. I'm sure it hurts OP's stepdaughter. It would be hard to see OP's daughter and not feel envious. But OP doesn't sound like she's in a position to be able to support herself in the future when she needs to retire, if OP helps her. Life's not always fair, but she has a lifetime to catch up, and OP doesn't, especially not in a country where medical bills can bankrupt family. Maxi Muscles King says, not the a-hole. It sucks that Nicole has been through so much, but the unforeseen financial impact of her mother and father's death was outside of your control. Let this be a cautionary tale, everyone. Have good life insurance, and don't live in a country where medical bills will wipe you out financially. Cheffy JP says, not the a-hole. Nicole is being manipulative now. Do not sacrifice your savings and living situation, especially with your husband gone. You only have one source of income. Sweeper 1985 says, not the a-hole. It's not like you either planned to support Claire and not Nicole, or like you now have the money to support Nicole but just choose not to. You shouldn't have to sell your house or give up your retirement due to these rapidly changing and evolving circumstances. However, maybe there are other ways you can try to help Nicole in the future. I sure hope that at least, as an example, you have included her in your will. I'm 37 male. My wife, 45 female, still wears the engagement ring from her first marriage, literally every day. Her first husband, let's call him Marcus, because that's his name, and I'm not going to keep typing out her first husband. Some context, because I know everyone's going to have a lot of assumption. Marcus and my wife met when they were very young. They married young, first love type of crap. Marcus travels a lot for work, and after 7 years of marriage, my wife and Marcus decided that their marriage isn't going to work because of the constant traveling. My wife wanted to settle down in one place. This is the reason why their marriage ended. Nothing too crazy. They don't have any kids together. Marcus got my wife a 4-carat diamond ring from James Allen. He never asked for it back after they divorced. He didn't want it back. He told her to keep it. They don't talk to each other anymore. They lost touch long ago. She always wore this engagement ring even after the divorce, and I met her when she was still wearing it. Originally, she wore it to prevent guys from hitting on her. Also, she just really loves rings and jewelry. She wears a lot of rings. This engagement ring is her dream ring. I don't have that much money, to be honest. I'm just an average Joe. I'm not poor, but I'm not rich. I don't live paycheck to paycheck or anything. I'm just normal. Because of this, my wife said after we get married, it's fine. We don't have to get each other super expensive rings or anything. She can just wear the ring she has now. We got each other wedding bands though. She wears the wedding band I got her every day. It bothers me that she still wears that engagement ring, even though it doesn't mean anything anymore. I don't want to bring this up to her because I don't want to come off as some kind of control freak that tells a woman what they can or cannot do. The other uprising says, you should probably talk to her about it. She may not realize it bothers you. It sounds like she is more attached to the jewelry than who it came from, if she doesn't even bother keeping in touch with her ex, but might be oblivious to how this comes off. Lyrical Willow says, here's an idea. I kept my first engagement ring after I divorced my husband. When my current husband proposed, I gave him the engagement ring, and he traded it in and bought me something new. I love the ring. It's beautiful. But I love the symbolism even more. Of taking something that failed and transforming it into something wonderful. Maybe you could discuss this with your wife and she might be open to it, especially if she's only wearing the ring because she likes it. Therein 88 says, OP, the reason your wife is still wearing it is because it is very expensive. Random Google shows $35,000 to $80,000 depending on the ring. My recommendation would be to ask her if she'd like to see a jeweler about having the stone reset into a different ring or another piece of jewelry, so she can keep the $50,000 diamond without wearing her previous husband's engagement ring. I, 25 female, am due to get married in November. My wedding date has been a point of issue for the last 4 months, ever since we booked things. My oldest sister, June, 38 female, is married to John, 40 male, and they have 2 kids together, 2 female and 4 male. John also has 3 from his first marriage, 11 male, 10 female, and 9 female. They will be with their mom the day of my wedding, per John and his ex's court-ordered parenting plan. June and John expected me to change the date of the wedding to a day where the kids could be there, but they're not the only ones who won't be attending. My oldest brother's oldest daughter, 14 female, will be with her mom that day too. But June and John think this is an act of me showing John's kids they're not really family, and that's not what this is at all. This is a date that works for the majority of people. It's a date that works for my fiancé and I the best also. June has approached several members of the family complaining and trying to win them to her side. It has caused conflict with our oldest brother because he pointed out that he can't have all his kids there either. But he's not going around trying to add peer pressure to change the date, just to have his kid there, and to hell with everyone else. June said this was different and told him he should be supporting her. The issue has become so dramatic now. June is saying I'm selfish and that my fiancé should be trying to make a better entrance into the family. She told me I should be prioritizing family attending more than anyone else. I told her we are, to the best of our ability, but we can't magically find the perfect date to have every single person there. I told her she could always try getting John to work something out with his ex. She said I know that his ex would never agree. I feel like this has become a bigger issue than it needed to be, but maybe I'm being an a-hole here. June has called me that once or twice, and John has yelled it at me 5 times already when he tried to convince me to change the date. He even offered to pay us to change it. Am I the a-hole? Caro SCP says, if they're so desperate to have the children there, then they have plenty of time to negotiate with the other parent. Mysterious Duty 7100 says, it's my wedding, and we chose a date that suits us. As such, you can choose not to attend. Secondly, it's not my problem that your co-parenting relationship is so bad that she won't let you negotiate a day to have the kids. That's a you problem. And lastly, this is no longer up for discussion, and anyone who wants to pick this hill to die on can also choose not to attend. Not the a-hole. Talikth says, not the a-hole. The wedding is about you and your partner. Since it seems like you tried to pick a date that worked for the most people, I don't know what else you can do. I don't like that your sister didn't even try to talk to her husband's ex about a date switch.